Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Vancouver Whitecaps, Real Salt Lake. Something's got to give. The Whitecaps have struggled to score goals this season, and more importantly, they need to get back to winning ways. What better place to do that than at home against a traveling Real Salt Lake? Can they do it? How will they do it? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to briefly break down the Vancouver Whitecaps against Real Salt Lake. So Vancouver against Real Salt Lake, both sides not starting the season on a good note, but Real Salt Lake coming off a win, whereas Vancouver once again lost last week. Could Vancouver turn things around? We look at the board, we have Vancouver in the blue, we have Real Salt Lake in the red. Real Salt Lake in more of a 4-3-3. They had Baird up front, they had Plata and Savarino on the flanks. Just here they had Rusnak ahead of Krelak and Beckerman. Vancouver in more of a 4-2-3-1. Basically they had Blondell up front ahead of Jordan Much. On the flanks here, basically what they did do was that they had the wider players push out. They had Brett Shea on one flank, and then on the opposite flank they had Tercera, and in midfield they had Russell Tiber and they had Gazelle. What went right, what went wrong? When we look at it, basically how Vancouver trying to get across this Real Salt Lake backline was that they were playing pretty high and they were simply just trying to get balls and trying to break in transition, trying to slide their players into the final third like that. They really struggle in midfield in terms of controlling the game, but they have devastating pace and they have a direct threat, so they look to break on the counter. You look at some of the few chances that they try to do. Basically, they try to get either Blondell breaking in from behind, Blondell pulling off into the channels there, and there was one play where they did get to Sarah in breaking past, but he was offside. You look at the best chance that they have, just winning the ball in midfield. Much picks it up. Already there's space here, slides it into Blondell. He breaks free on goal, rounds Ramondo, but he takes too long to fire a shot off, and this last-ditch effort forces the ball out wide for a corner. You look at another opportunity where it's Tiber getting the ball in midfield. Notices Shea making the run off, plays the ball into this space here behind the high line. No one is tracking the run, no pressure applied on Tybert. He's able to break in. What happens is that the runner comes across, Blondell peels to the far post, clips the ball into Blondell. However, he nods his header off the defender. Nothing comes from it. Those were really the big chances that Vancouver got in the first half. For a lot of the first half, they were sitting without the ball, and there was a bit of an issue in midfield based on the fact that Much wasn't really getting close to Beckerman. He was playing a bit higher, so they kind of had a 3v2 in midfield. However, while they weren't really exploited too much in that center of the zone because they allowed Beckerman to get the ball, then they'd shoot out and kind of press Rusnak or try to press Krelak. That was an issue as the game wore on, because although they were pushing up and stepping in, what would happen was that Plata would tuck in there, they'd have Savarino tuck in there, and those were the, when you think about the best chances that Real Salt Lake had prior to going down 2-0, it was simply Plata picking up the ball here, combining with his fullback Ruiz, curling an effort on goal that hits the crossbar. You think about Savarino, there was one time where Krelak clipped the ball over into half space, fires his shot inches wide, but a lot of their shots just stemmed from shots from distance. You had Krelak fire a shot inches wide, you got Savarino pick up the ball in the space and force the keeper into a save. The problem with Real Salt Lake is that they simply don't have runners going in behind. So they play everything in front of the opposition back line. So when they turn, there's never that intricate combination play to try and find someone out wide. Plata doesn't really break in. Savarino doesn't break in. Baird doesn't look like he wants to go for it. There's no midfield runs in beyond. So they're very easy to defend against, and they resorted to shots on goal, and there was no real issue there besides the one that probably hit off the crossbar. When you look at what Vancouver did in the second half, they were simply getting balls in behind the spaces of the fullbacks. They were still getting high. It was Brett Shea constantly being played in down this flank. On 2 occasions, he broke free behind Lennon. The first cross he delivered, Ramondo came across to it. The second cross, Beckerman was tracking and cleared his lines there. But Brett Shea was the key man in that down the left, and what happened is that he even got a cross on, because as they were slowly getting forward up the pitch, we saw this happening a lot. slowly getting forward the pitch. We saw Franklin overlap. Franklin delivers the cross into the box. Unmarked. Lennon isn't there. Shea volleys the effort off the post and almost off the other post, but it went inches wide of the net. And then when you look at it, they make a change. They take off Levy's. They bring on Davies, push Shea back. Then you have Davies running. And you look at what happens after that. It's still down the left. It's Shea finding Tybert in the space. He instantly slides into Davies behind Lennon. Breaks in free down. There was a center back that came across, breaks in past him, pulls it back for Blondell. Ball bounces off his foot, goes wide. Vancouver eventually take the lead. A poor Besler touch leads to a foul in the box, and then Tercera scores, but he takes off his shirt and gets another yellow card. You have to think, how does that even happen? They go down to 11 men. I mean, they go down to 10 men. They go 4-4-1, and it's kind of the same template. They just had the forward up front, and then you look at the second goal to ice the game. It's simple. Loose ball, Davies brushes off Lennon, runs past his marker, breaks in on goal, slides an effort into Blondell for him to tap in, and lo and behold, Vancouver finally win a game. They finally score, and most importantly, they do it at home. What was really the main factors in this game? One, Real Salt Lake still have issues breaking in behind the opposition defense. Two, Real Salt Lake's high line ensured that Vancouver could break in behind them and use their pace and direct play to attack them. Three, they never had an answer or a plan B to solve Shea breaking down that flank, and then Davies, and Vancouver made them pay. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.